First AIG, now Citigroup. The CEO of Citigroup took home $38 million in compensation last year, even as the company got $45 billion in bailout money. And this morning, Bloomberg News reports that Citigroup plans to spend millions more constructing an executive suite in its New York headquarters. Joining us now, Erik Schatzker of Bloomberg News, who's been all over this story. How elaborate an executive suite are we talking about? How much?
We're talking about pretty much half the floor at 399 Park Avenue here in New York City, half of the second floor, 17 private offices, a couple of conference rooms, one very large. There's some open areas with soft seating, and there's specifications for sub-zero refrigerators, for example, that kind of thing.
When I say how much, I don't mean space. How much money?
$10 million is what one person who's really familiar with this project is telling me the minimum is going to be. You're talking about some pretty sizable square footage. If you go down to 399 Park, look at the size of the block, you begin to realize the scale of this project.
In light of private Jetgate and all the other millions of dollars, let's talk John Thane, all this other wasted money on conference rooms and space like this, how dumb a decision is this?
Well, I have to say that really is all in the eye of the beholder. Let's talk about it from both standpoints. From the standpoint of the observer, you might ask, what were they thinking? Obviously, you mentioned private Jetgate, $45 billion in bailout money. Citigroup, the only major U.S. bank to be bailed out or rescued, if you prefer, 3 times by the U.S. taxpayer. So add it all together, why now, really? The other side of the coin, though, is Citigroup's argument in its defense, which is to say the project began before the TARP money was handed out. That said, some of the approvals did not come through until after the TARP money was given, and so there certainly was an opportunity for Citigroup to say, maybe we shouldn't proceed with this project right now, but they do say it's going to cut down on space, they're consolidating offices, and that over the long term, it's going to save the bank money.
All right, we're dealing with public perception now, though. And just last month on Capitol Hill, the Citigroup CEO testified to this, I quote, "I get the new reality, and I'll make sure Citi gets it as well." Well, Mr. CEO, I think when people see this report, they're going to say, no, you don't get it, Mr. Pandit. You do not get it. How can you greenlight something like this when you are getting federal money?
Well, that really cuts to the issue that people are concerned about, which is, are the bankers on Wall Street tone deaf to what's going on in Washington? You mentioned AIG at the top of this block. Obviously, AIG, an enormous storm of controversy. $10 million is not $165 million, but in many people's minds, especially down in D.C., where you have the public representatives sitting in Congress, it's not a matter of how much, it's the principle, because, as Mike Santoli was earlier pointing out, AIG in total is something like $165 billion in bailout money. We're talking about $165 billion in bonuses. It's not necessarily the number of dollars at stake. It's what they're being used for, and why now.
There are better ways to spend that money. All right, Erik, thank you very much. Good report.